Hello and welcome to another wonderful show. I'm your host, Marie St.Cyr, and as always, we invite in wonderful souls that have surmounted their own odds and have wonderful wisdom to impart to us from their journey. And today I get the honor to sit with another beautiful friend and someone who I can't wait to hear the depth of his story. It is Mr. Sean Osborn. He
Oh,
has developed the Thinking Big Mindset coaching program, and we're going to learn so much more about that. And he's sharing his story of how he went from being homeless to a millionaire. And you definitely want to sit back and take notes on this. Sean, thank you so much for being our guest today on the podcast.
Tina Marie, thank you so much for having me on. This is it's an honor to be on, and I'm so happy to spend this time with you. It's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. And so I want them to know more about you as we begin this journey and this insight into your life. Thank you for sharing that. I want you to know that Sean, he's been a mindset strategist and a coach for a long time. In fact, he's studied with some of the greats as well. And from that, and even his own life, he's developed this wonderful philosophy and strategy that he's going to be sharing with us today. And you can always find out more about him at thinkingbigcoaching.com. Sean has spent 30 years developing this Thinking Big framework. And it is, this isn't something that's fly by night or borrow from other people. This is his own experience of how he had needed to shift his own mindset in order to surmount some pretty heavy odds at a young age. Sean, you found yourself homeless at the age of 14 and have gone from there to having a multi-million-dollar tech company. Take us back to the time where you were homeless at a young age. That's a tender age of 14 to be in that state.
Yes, that is a very tender age, and I like one. I think if I go back, it's probably the best time of my life. I know that's hard for people to see or to
Yeah,
realize, but that was something that had I not gone through that, I would have never learned in life what I learned. I would not be where I am today without going through that experience and it was all self-made. So here's the thing. I grew up on, great parents,
mhm.
had a great home life, no issues with that. I was a very wild child. So I
Really?
was by 14, I had been through, 3 drug and alcohol treatment centers, was
Mm,
out on my own recovering, and it was self it was self-inflicted. So it's not something, I take 100% responsibility for everything that happened, as should everybody. We're all where
right.
we are because of what we believe, and but I take full responsibility for that. And it was self-imposed. I did it to myself,
Hmm.
but I was still in the situation. I was 14 years old. I was out on my own,
Right.
trying to make it.
Hmm. So, each one of us is going to have that. We have to have our own hero's journey, right?
Yeah,
We come from these obstacles that could be imposed upon us given different circumstances and conditions, or like you're saying here, we can self-impose those obstacles inside of our own mind. And I know that we're talking about mindset today. So take us back to the young 14-year-old Sean. In order to have those choices or make those choices, there would have had to have been a lower mindset and control of your decision making at that point in time, right?
absolutely, absolutely. And here's the thing. I think I am a 100% believer that everything that we have, if you look around your life,
Hmm.
everything that you have, everything that I have is a direct mirror of what our mindset is, what it is at that time. So absolutely everything I was going through, that was my mindset. I was the dumb kid. I was the drug addict. I was voluntold to leave school in the ninth grade. So I
Hmm.
didn't even make it out of the ninth grade. And I'll tell you, from a personal growth standpoint, up until about, I'd say, 4 or 5 years ago, nobody knew my backstory.
Mm,
Absolutely nobody knew who I was, where I came from. I never told my son is now 32,
right.
and until he was probably 28, 29, he never even knew my story.
Wow.
Obviously, my wife did, but no one else did. It was something I never talked about.
And it's interesting because, I've got some painful things in my story as well that it takes a lot of courage and it takes this, we get to the season of our life where that that vulnerability or the need to tell our story, not even the need to, it just simply transforms others. We realize we get to this place where our story is a beautiful tool for others. And I know you've arrived there as well, but otherwise we keep it locked in a box that we would otherwise think it's a Pandora's box instead of something that can create freedom for ourselves and others.
Yeah, and it was, again, it goes back to a mindset. I always had the feeling that by telling someone they would think that I was stupid, they would think that I was dumb,
Mhm.
and it's a whole mindset thing that
Mhm.
you have to get over those self-limiting beliefs. Those absolutely hold you back from where you wanna go, where you need to go, and it's those beliefs that keep us trapped, keep us in prison.
What would you say to our listeners on how they could start to unravel those limiting beliefs that are there? I mean, sometimes we don't even know where to look to see if those are running our decision making in our mind.
Well, for starters, we have to understand that they do exist. I think that was the biggest thing for me is I had to understand you don't know what you don't know. And
Yeah.
until you start learning about mindset and about how your beliefs control everything you do, uh, you just don't know. So the first thing is you have to start understanding that you have them. And again, I'll go back. You are exactly where you are because of your beliefs.
Mm,
So whatever your belief system is, that
yeah.
is where you are. So you absolutely have belief systems, and your beliefs keep you exactly where you are.
And so if we're inventorying where we are right now, if where we are is painful, if where we are feels stuck, and I love the way, somewhere you say in the pieces of information you sent me, which was great, is that stuck is real. It's not like it's a conditional norm that everybody needs to say that my life is stuck and this is why. It's not like something that you don't have power over. So if somebody right now is inventorying their life and going, okay, yes, there are parts of my life that feel painful. It may not be the entire across the board. Parts feel painful. Parts feel stuck. I feel like there's more to life and I don't know where to get to or how to get there. What you're helping us understand is the evidence of our life is the connection to these limiting beliefs. And whenever we start looking at them, then we can start making progress. Is that what you're?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you're having any issue in any part of your life, it goes back to your beliefs. And the way I always like to look at it and at least start changing it is if I'm not happy, the only way to change my programming, the only way to change my enculturated mind, the only, way to change that belief system is to act as if it was already done. We've got to me, the best way to reprogram my mind is to actually act as if I already have it, act as if I'm already there, act as if I already won, act as if whatever it is that I'm wanting, I've already got it. Because
Mhm,
on a subconscious level, that helps me reprogram that belief system. It
mhm,
it hacks it, I guess you could say. It fakes it out. It's a trick that I use to fake it. So, as an example, if you are not where you want in a relationship, or
mhm,
you are not where you want in your health, you're it's almost like a thermostat. So in your health, once you get to a certain level,
mhm,
your subconscious, your belief system is automatically going to take you back down. So if you're at if you think of yourself as subconsciously in your belief system as a 150 pound person, I don't care what you do, whether you go up, whether you go down, that belief system will automatically take you back to that thermostat, that 150 pounds. I don't care what you do. It's like going back onto autopilot once we lose focus. And
mhm,
if we start acting as if, uh, we're already there. So if I wanted to be 130 pounds, if I start acting as if I'm already 130 pounds, I go and I do the things that I would do at 130 pounds. I wear the things I'd wear at 130 pounds. I eat the things I would eat at 130 pounds. That's going to change my subconscious and
mhm.
bring me down. That's going to change my thermostat to 100, 130.
Amazing. I love this. I love where this is going. This is so fun. And I wanted to remind everybody who we're speaking with today. This is the wonderful Sean Osborn, and he is sharing his story of going from homeless to a millionaire. We're about to uncover where he went from that 14-year-old homeless version of himself out of recovery centers to where did you tap in? And if you haven't yet written down his website, I want you to do this. It's thinkingbigcoaching.com. And there, I'm sure you're going to connect with Sean and he's going to give you so much value. You want to go there. He also has a Thinking Big podcast that you're going to want to start listening to and make one of your favorites. So, Sean, take us to the place where you're 14 years old, homeless. What started shifting in your life to get you to this new trajectory?
So I think there's always something that happens in someone's life to make them change what they want to do. And normally it's pain. People will do things, they will change to avoid pain. They will do things much quicker than they'll do things for enjoyment. And they'll
Isn't that
also do
ironic?
things, yes. And they'll also do things for other people quicker than they'll do things for themselves.
Mm,
So at 16, there I was washing dishes, trying to make a living. And my then girlfriend came to me and said she was pregnant. So there I was,
was
16
life
years
changed?
old. Yeah, 16 years old, no education, barely making enough to buy food. And I was going to have a kid. And I'm like, that's it. I've got,
Mm,
that was the catalyst that really, I don't know if I didn't want to be that father. I didn't want to be that person,
right.
but that was absolutely the catalyst that changed everything. And from that second, everything changed. The mindset changed, the belief system changed, the driver changed.
Hmm. I want to take us down a little path that is similar to what you're talking about. And I know we're going to end up in a wise Sean moment. In the past, given tribal cultures, there was what do they call it? Whenever you have to surmount the odds, I can't think of it right now, but it's a becoming. Like you go through a trial or a tribulation, and from that place, maybe you're cast out. The tribe says go kill a lion or and come back with the evidence of that. And in other cultures we would have these ways of going from that younger version of ourselves and surmounting some odds and challenges to realize our strength and who we are. We don't have those in today's society as such. It's more honestly, that risk taking with drugs, that risk taking with gambling, or, driving fast or risking your life, that risk taking, activity that we have within ourselves to go against the cultural rules and maybe have crime and things of that nature. And I've been seeing that in the youth of today, that it's a, what is that term? It's like the statement of coming, the becoming, whenever you,
Coming of age, the
thank you, that is it, the coming of age, right?
yeah.
And it seems as though our culture has these, because we still need to take that risk to say, who am I? What am I made of? And so, have you ever thought of that for yourself, of that young Sean? That was your coming of age season, and then whenever your girlfriend was pregnant, then you cast yourself into this adulthood, more mature, responsible part of yourself.
Yeah, and I think it goes back, and I think we always go into these things. We all have these events, we have these things, and I always like to look at them as you either grow or you die.
Mm.
There's no standing still. My dad used to tell me, Sean, you either got to shit or get off the pot. There's no, sorry if you can cut that. Yeah, that was a saying,
True.
shit or get off the pot. So you either have to grow or you die.
Yeah.
And it's those little decisions, and it's those things that will change your belief, that will change your trajectory in life. Is getting outside of, you hear it all the time, comfort zone, the terror barriers. You hear all those things that people talk about, and those are the moments that you have to do that. And you absolutely, on those moments in life, you either change it or you die. There's
And
no staying still.
dying could simply be not progressing and staying stuck in these old limiting mindsets
Correct.
you're sharing with us. And so we simply stay prisoner
Yep.
to an old belief system that, maybe some people will say, I'd rather die
Yeah.
than live a life like this that feels so damned stuck. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
And
you're
I
talking.
remember, oh,
Mhm.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I remember back then the whole feeling of just complete hopelessness, of not necessarily worthlessness, but it was just complete hopelessness of, there didn't seem to be a way out. There didn't seem to be any light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, I was, again, I was struggling just to put food, in myself. And, but again, and one of my favorite quotes, God, I can't remember. I think it might have been, I don't know who did this, but, you are either at the table or you're on the menu. And that goes right back to
Oh,
that,
wow. That's
you're
powerful.
either eating or you're, or you're the food, one of
That
the
is
two.
powerful, right? I remember I So I wanted to take the kids to Africa, and I wanted to go to a safari. For me, safari is a photo safari. So we're taking pictures of the animals. And I remember telling my daughter, who was probably about 5 years old at that time, and her brother was 7.5. And I said, let's plan a trip to Africa. And she immediately got really worried. You could see it in her physiology. And later, I noticed that she was holding this anxiety. And I said, what's going on, Maddie? And she said, do we really have to go to Africa? And I said, no, we don't have to go to Africa. What's wrong? She said, the animals eat people like me. And I was like, her anxiety was she realized she was smaller and possibly slower, and she was going to be a meal instead of something that was going to be fun. So that's a great quote of understanding where we need to go.
And seeing the sarcastic me would have told my kid, well, you better start learning to run fast.
Ironically, she became an amazing athlete and marathon runner. So maybe that was that pivotal moment of
I better
mom
learn to run.
threatening that we're going to go to Africa. We never made it to Africa, but the threatening moment. So in thinking big, your journey took you here.
Yeah.
And you became the helm of a company that you've taken to a multi-million-dollar effect of others. Whenever we hear business and I hear the size of companies, instead of visualizing the dollar signs, which are the proof of the size of the company, I see the effect that company has had on so many lives, be it their customers and definitely their employees and all the people in between. And so, one, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for leading and building an amazing business. Tell us about that journey from the Sean, not educated, to taking his wisdom and his knowing and starting something that has had such impact in the world.
And and I've gone through several different companies, but on the thinking big, the big, that is actually, a philosophy, a model and that's what took me from where I was to, having the multi-million-dollar company was that big model. And you hear it. Here's the thing. I think there is a law of success, and I don't care who you read it from, who you talk to. I don't care if it's from Think and Grow Rich. I don't care if it's from Tony Robbins. I don't care who. There is a law, and I don't care how someone else explains it. There's still a law of success, and if you follow that law, it's just like if I dropped a rock here, it would drop at the same speed every time. There's a law of gravity. You can't change it. You can't do it. To me, there is a law of success, and if you follow that law, you will be successful, without a doubt. And that's what the thinking big is, and that's it took me 30 years to fully develop and understand what that law was and how you follow it. The big is stands for beliefs, your imagination, and then growth. And it's a momentum circle. And again, anybody you talk to, any growth person, anybody that does mindset stuff, they're going to have the same thing because they explain the law maybe a little bit differently,
Right.
but it's still a law. It's still the only way to get from point. If I look at any successful person in the world, I don't care if it's in athletics, I don't care if it's in business, I don't care what it is. I can see the thinking big, the model in every single one of them. Without a doubt, you can't have it any other way.
So the beliefs that you shifted, if we go back to those beliefs, what did you take your limiting belief and 180 it over into a belief that sustained you? What was that framework inside of your own mind?
And we talked about it a little bit. Part of it was acting as if. So I went from being the high school dropout, the person that that didn't really know much, didn't do much, to literally within 5 years, I was in boardrooms with big real estate and investment trusts like trust fund people, angel funds. I was literally in rooms of billionaires, millionaires and billionaires saying, this is what you need to do. I had so much faith in what I was doing. So I transitioned my mindset from I can't do anything to I know what the hell I'm doing. I know what I'm doing is going to work, and come hell or high water, it's going to happen. There is no stopping it. There is no maybe. There is no. It is absolutely 100% going to happen.
I love that. I love that. I can feel the energy of it complete difference from drain to rainmaker. That's what it sounds like,
Oh yeah,
which is amazing. And you're saying every single person has this ability to transform their beliefs. And you also are tapping into the utilization of the imagination so they could
absolutely.
see themselves in this place. What would you say to the people that go, I don't know what I want? I hear this so much. I don't know what I want. I don't have that visionary faculty to imagine. What advice and wisdom would you have to that mindset?
That's part of the, the first step is you have to get clarity on what it is you want. And
Mhm.
there's tons of tools out there. There's tons of ways to do that, but you absolutely have to get clarity on what you want. And I think everyone knows what they want. They might not know how to get it. So there's tools like 7 layers deep. There's a lot of tools you can do to start diving in and getting clarity on what it is you want. I absolutely think everybody knows exactly what they do, what they
Mhm.
want to do. They just don't know how to drill down and
Mhm.
how to get to that precise thing. But if you're going to be successful at whatever it is, you have to have a very an extremely clear picture on what it is you want and when you want it. You have to have that. Otherwise,
Mhm.
you're not going to get it.
You
It's
won't
like
ever manifest it.
building a house. If you don't know exactly the house you want to build
Mhm.
and you don't have a timeline to get it built, it's never going to go anywhere.
Right.
And that's 101. I mean, you have to have clarity on what it is that you want.
There's this place in the Texas Hill Country that I visit 2 to 3 times a year. And it's a windy road to go down to this one particular bed and breakfast. It's on Lake Buchanan. And there's this house that's being built. And literally for the last 10 years, I've been seeing this house being built. It's not finished, it's being built. And then at the same time, just 2 years ago, another parcel of land was sold. And the developer, the person who owned that land, came in and he built his house in less than 6 months. A beautiful, beautiful lake house with a beautiful pier, beautiful drive, done. And his family's been enjoying it. So when you said this, I had that visual of this house that's been being built. And everybody around it is like, like, when are they going to finally finish? And that sounds like those limiting beliefs that we could listen to, the story of our mind of not ever reaching it. It's going to be too much work. It's not going to happen for me. Other people get there, but not me. And we keep trying and trying and trying, yet we never get there. Is that a
Yeah.
good analogy of what you're
Yeah.
sharing with us?
Absolutely. And it goes deeper. So if you, again, everyone has the idea that thoughts are things
Right.
and thoughts become things. And, everybody, tons of people teach on that. And that is true to the extent that what controls your thoughts? Thoughts aren't the start of things, it's your beliefs. So your beliefs drive your thoughts, which drive, your growth and so forth. But if your belief system has you at this level, you're not even going to be consciously aware of thoughts outside of that area. As an example, let's go back to health because everyone's been through health stuff and everyone wants to lose weight and stuff
Or get in shape, right?
or get in shape,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Mhm.
If you have a belief, if your belief has you at, a couch potato that doesn't do anything, you're not even going to have the ideas to
Mhm.
let's go start running 5 miles. Let's still go start running 3 miles. Let's go start. You don't even have that consciously aware thoughts. So yeah, thoughts do create the things, but if your belief system is at a much different level, you're not even going to be aware of those thoughts.
It's just
And one of the things that I talk about is especially for guys, if we go buy a new car, all of a sudden we see that same car everywhere.
right.
People talk about this and it's same for women with clothes, with whatever it is. It's the same thing. Once you get it, once you become consciously aware, then you start seeing all those other things. Your conscious mind is blocking out 99% of what you see. So if your belief system is down here, you're not even going to be aware of these other thoughts
Wow.
to grow. So as you increase your beliefs,
Yeah.
now you increase your capabilities of thinking and using your imagination.
Mm. So I've heard the term fake it until you make it.
Hmm.
And that sounds like the imagination usage. However, I've also worked or known people that want to live a lifestyle or live something, and they simply sit there and they imagine it, or they simply sit there and talk about it, yet they're not taking the action steps to actually
Right.
make changes happen. What would you say to the people that that want this new change? There's other things that once they imagine it, there's going to be something that's coming through them that they need to take action on.
Yeah, you have to take action. If you, I want you to take your, your want list down to the bank and see what happens. They're gonna laugh at you. Thinking about it doesn't do anything. You have to mix it with, you have to mix it with persistence. You have to mix it with the, with the desire to get it done. And you absolutely, I mean, and that's what drives action is when you do that, you drive action, which then again increases your beliefs, which then allows you to think bigger things and imagine bigger things, which so it's a vicious circle. But yeah, you absolutely have to take the action. Thoughts by themselves are just energy. Nothing but energy, uh, that buy
That's
you
awesome.
nothing. They get you nothing.
I love it. You're talking to our souls here. There's a part of that resonates in each one of us, that we know we're here for bigger things, no matter how much we've succeeded. I mean, you've got multi-million-dollar firms, and you want more. You're contributing to others because of where you've been and what you now know, so that you can share, so other people can learn and grow with you. And I noticed that behind you, you have a Think and Grow Rich 14-day challenge. Would you mind sharing with us what that's about, and how we can participate?
Oh, absolutely. So I I absolutely love to give back. And here's the thing, it's from where I've been. The thing that probably hurts me more than anything is to see people that are stuck and they don't know how to get out. I
Oh,
was absolutely there. So I felt it, I know it, I've been there. So part of the 14-day challenge is this is a free thing for you to go to, and it doesn't matter if you've ever read Think and Grow Rich or not.
mhm.
It absolutely has nothing to, it obviously has something to do with Think and Grow Rich, but you don't have to know the book. You don't have to read the book. You don't have to understand the book. There's 14 days. Uh, every day there's a video for that particular chapter, whether it's on desire, faith, auto suggestion, all the different steps within Think and Grow Rich. And then there is a challenge that I developed each day. So a tool each day to help drive in that particular step within Think and Grow Rich. Because here's the thing, Think and Grow Rich is it does the law. It's the law of success. Same as thinking big. It's the same thing. I do it a little bit differently, but it's all the same, all the same thing. And
Yeah.
speaking of Think and Grow Rich, I think one of the biggest misconceptions of that book is that it's about money.
I
It has
understand that
nothing to do
too.
with money.
Yeah, I love this book. My dad gave me a copy of the book when I was about 10 years old, and treasured, copy. And you're right. So speak to that. What is it really about inside of those wonderful pages?
It is Think and Grow Rich is about being successful. And again, I don't care if it's in your health, in your relationship, so I've been able to, I wish I would have got this book a lot sooner. And again, you don't have to have Think and Grow Rich to be successful. He just documented what 500 of the most successful people did. And it's just a roadmap to get you there. Instead of taking 20 years, you can do it in, 2 months and learn what I had to learn in 20 years.
Yeah.
But it is a way to become successful. And again, I don't care if it's in relationships, if it's in health, anybody who's been successful at any of those things that you want, I guarantee you can lay what they did, a map of what they did over Think and Grow Rich, and it every time. They had the desire to do what it was they wanted to do. They had the faith that they could do it. That's the belief system. They had the faith that they could do it. They were persistent. They never stopped. They
Mhm.
used their imagination to think of how could they do things different than someone else? How could I make, something better? How can I use my imagination to do something to get to my goal? So
Yes.
it doesn't matter what it is.
Mm. I love it. I love it. And it is a wonderful framework for absolutely any growth we want to have in our life. One of your mentors and mine as well, his name's Tony Robbins. And I was at one of my first live events. I took Date with Destiny. I went out of order. I took it first and didn't do the UPW Walk on Fire first. So I'm there at Date with Destiny, and they're all saying, make your move. And I had no clue what they're talking about. But I was like, okay, I'll make one up. But this one quote stuck with me and became a way of being, like a mantra, an understanding. It was like a light bulb moment for me. And it was that Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And so many times there's I'd say our younger mind wants this level of success and we reach it, or we go and we gain that thing or that status or that house or that car or that degree or that relationship. And we think in our minds that, hey, I've got it. And that success is there. But the missing piece is something that's truly what our soul is desiring the whole time, which is fulfillment. Could we speak toward your understanding? Because you help your clients reach this level of fulfillment. Yes, we're in Think and Grow Rich, and yes, you're thinking big. Your thinking big has so many wonderful components to it, and it does encompass this the knowing of fulfillment. So take us into that knowing, Sean's words around fulfillment.
So the way I like to look at that is I am absolutely grateful for everything I have. I am so thankful I have my wife, I have my kids. I am thankful for everything I have. I am not satisfied with what I have. There is a big difference between being satisfied where you are and being grateful for what you have. I will never be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Never in a day will I be satisfied where I'm at, because if the way I look at it is the second I become satisfied where I'm at,
Mm-hmm.
I cease to grow. I
Wow.
cease to move forward. I cease to get any bigger. So I've never, and I know some people will hear that and say, how can you not be satisfied where you're at?
Mm-hmm.
And again, satisfied and grateful are two distinctly different things,
Mm-hmm.
and I will never ever be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm doing this, it's not good enough. I've got to do it again. I've got to do it better. I've got to do it more. I've got to. To me, we always have to grow. We always have to push.
Mm-hmm.
And the second, I'm telling you, the second you become satisfied,
Mm-hmm.
you stop growing. And actually, a lot of my clients are people who have been successful,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in success and they're stuck. That's what I'm saying. Being stuck absolutely sucks. It doesn't care if you're a CEO of a company, but once they became satisfied with where they were, they made they got the nice car, they got the nice house, and they became satisfied. And the second you become satisfied, you become stagnant, you become unhappy, we have to have that constant. It's not perfection. We got to have that constant growth. That's, to me, that's what's fulfilling, is continually getting better and
Mm-hmm.
seeing progress. So when I have progress in something, that's when I'm fulfilled. That's
Mm-hmm.
when I'm developing something new, that's when I get so damn excited, and I'm ready to share, and I'm ready, so that's what it's about.
I love
It,
that.
it has nothing to do with the monetary things. It truly doesn't. Those are nice to haves,
Mm-hmm.
but, and that actually goes back. So part of what happened in the story is, after I made my first couple $1,000,000 off my company, I lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in the stock market all went to nothing, zero. I still couldn't be
Ouch.
happier. I couldn't be happier. People say, "Didn't that bug you?" I'm like, "I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
don't give a shit. I had nothing before. I have nothing again, and I'm still gonna grow. I'm still gonna go back. I'm gonna still do the same damn thing."
You knew the law.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
knew the success formula.
And here's the thing: the success formula works both ways,
Mm-hmm.
positive and negative. And everyone's heard the saying, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, the happy get happier, the sad get more depressed.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a momentum loop. And that's part of the beliefs, is it's a momentum loop. So yeah, I could care less that I lost all that money. Yeah. Oh well, time to do it again.
There
Time
you
to grow
go.
some more.
I love your attitude. I love your way of being. It's just infectious in a positive way, which is awesome. Thank you so much. So, what would you share with the people that are listening, that in their own vulnerability, and more than likely the story inside of their mind that they're not letting other people hear or see, that they're battling, right? They're battling inside their own mind with these belief systems that you're hinting toward and waking them up about and saying, let's have the courage to take a look at these. What would you share for them to move from that less than version of themselves that feels stuck, stagnant, stalemate, into the next version of themselves, that next season?
Oh, there's so many ways that I could answer that question. And one of the things that pops up is, again, I didn't tell my story for years and years and years. I was stuck in that mindset. I absolutely robbed the world of information by not telling it. So people, when they don't tell their story, think of it this way: you are stealing from someone else's growth. By you not sharing what you went through, you are absolutely stealing someone's ability to grow, because your story, what you went through, you can absolutely help someone else do the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, we could sit here all day and share. It's awesome. I love where we're sharing today for everyone to understand how to start thinking big, right? So let's talk about your framework. Let's talk about your way to connect with Sean.
Mhm.
How do they find you? How do they reach out to you? What do you have as gifts for them? We've already talked about the Think and Grow Rich 14-day challenge they can download and start today. And what are the next steps that they would take with you as their coach?
Well, the first thing is, yeah, follow me on the podcast. You know, I talk about this type of stuff on Thinking Big podcast,
Mhm,
and absolutely go do that challenge. Here's the thing: it's free. Now, I originally did it for 40. So when I first came up with that challenge, I did it for $40. But
mhm,
everybody that took the challenge, if they if they made it through, I
right.
took all 40 and it fed for Feeding America. So everybody who did that challenge when I originally did it,
Mhm,
100% of those funds went to Feeding America, because everybody did. They
mhm,
completed all steps of the challenge, and all that money went to Feeding America. And then I put it out here for free. And
mhm,
again, I don't care where you are in your life, in your journey, you can absolutely get something out of that challenge.
mhm,
Every one of those challenges for each step will help you grow, help you understand. And I think one of the most beautiful things about Think and Grow Rich is that is one book that meets you where you're at.
mhm,
I don't care if you're a 16-year-old high school dropout. I don't care if you're a CEO. It will meet you where you're at, and it makes sense to you where you're at. So that's why it stood the test of time. That's, been
yes.
out over 80 years, because it meets people where they are. So that challenge, take it. I guarantee if you do it, you will get at least one nugget that will help
Mhm,
you get to your goal.
that's
Same
beautiful.
with the podcast. And then I do, my coaching. So I
Mhm,
do one-on-one coaching, where I take people. So my coaching takes them through the big model, from beliefs to imagination to growth, and
mhm,
create that momentum loop. Because here's the thing: success builds success,
mhm.
and that's exactly what the belief. That's exactly what it is. It's success is building success.
Yeah. And being around success, true success,
Yes.
fulfilled success. Those people, I love that you said that it's not being satisfied. I understand that. I'll probably be satisfied for just, like take a breath and take it in. But it is that gratitude instead. It's appreciation for where we've been and where we are.
Yeah.
And it's gratitude for what we have and what we can affect. And whenever we have that knowing inside of ourselves, it wants to grow. It's not that we are not, I get the not satisfied. It's that life itself inside of us has this need to continue to grow, and it's
Yeah.
growing through us. So we don't want to squash that out. I worked with a doctor once, and he told me, he said, I've reached a level of success. I can literally go out, because I asked him, I said, what would make you happy? What's the next level of happy for you? He had a great family, awesome kids, amazing practice. And he said, I don't know really. I feel like I've reached every vision that I had whenever I came out of med school to do. I've done it. And he said, the truth to you is I can go buy an $85,000 Aston Martin today. I could just go pay cash. I could, travel to with the Himalayas. I could go to the ends of the earth. He said, I have all that. I have the friends, I have the support network, I have it. I don't know what my next place is. And I asked him, I said, just sit with it. It sounds like you're forcing this to be an answer. Why not sit with it and get curious about it and allow it to speak to you as opposed to you speak to it? And he did. He went off on his own inner journey and placed silent time in his day instead of a lot of busy time. And I know
Yep.
you do this as well. And what came forward is he said, I'm now being called that I'm going to take everything that I've done and how I've built my business, and I'm going to have this spread across the nation. And he's now, instead of Village Family Practice, he's now Village Medical, and he has consortiums. He's a major consortium helping all these doctors. And it has now gone from Texas all the way through Texas to Arkansas, Oklahoma. Now it's going up and it's in Louisiana, and it's continuing to grow. And he's using his success model to help others. So I know this is part of what the big framework is. It's taking who we are and what we are. And that's exactly what you do, Sean, is that you're taking who you are, where you've been, what you've learned, and you're affecting the lives of many now.
Yeah.
So
And I
thank you.
think you said something that is very important. I think meditation and reflection is probably one of the most important things that we can do, because to me, that's when the universe answers back to our questions. We can ask, I believe that people don't have their own ideas. They become aware of ideas from the universe.
Right.
And what most people do is, if they don't meditate or they don't, and I don't care, even if when I'm driving, in essence, I'm meditating, because I'll get ideas. And here's the thing, when we get ideas, so when your doctor friend, I guarantee he had that idea before that. But what most of us do when we get these ideas, this is our genius from the universe. When we tap into infinite intelligence and we get these ideas, we normally say, that'll never work. And we dismiss it. And by meditating and actually trying to listen to what is being told to us, that's when we get our great ideas. That's when we tap into, infinite intelligence. That's when we grow. That's when we use our imagination, is when we sit down, we have that quiet time, and we start listening to, and we pay attention when we get the sound that says, hey, you need to go do this, or you need to call this person, and not just say, yeah. As I like to say, some people can get that with a feather. I normally need the 2x4 across the face before I understand it.
Yeah, the older we get, we start listening to the feathers, right?
Yeah.
Those 2x4s hurt.
I've learned from the 2x4.
I know, I love it. So thank you so much for your time today, Sean. It's been an amazing journey to hear your journey and to grow from that and to learn from that. And I know that you've shifted the beliefs of the people listening and led them to a curious place where they want to learn more. So everyone, please go to thinkingbigcoaching.com. Sign up for the Think and Grow Rich 14-day challenge with Sean. Sign up for his podcast. Make that one of your favorites, and do yourself a beautiful gift, is increasing who you are in this world so that you can become more, to serve more, contribute more, and feel more. Thank you, Sean. It's always
Thank you so much, Dina Marie. It's been such a pleasure being on here. We've been trying to do this for a while, so I'm so glad we were able to do this. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.